All right, welcome back. It's the Avid Investor Podcast with me, your host, Josh Adamek. And today I'm going to talk about construction and managing and working with contractors. So first thing we need to understand, first thing we need to cover is that if you're going to be in real estate, if you're going to be a real estate investor, if you're going to be an active investor, which means you're going to be out actively buying properties, whether it's to keep in your rental portfolio, whether it's to, fix them up, flip them, sell them, whatever. Regardless of what aspect of real estate investing you're in, construction is a big part of that. And it's important that you understand that we understand construction and that we understand, some ways to go about working with contractors and understanding and knowing the process. So first things first, you might want to write this down. This is pretty important for me to cover. So fast, cheap, and good. You can pick two. No matter how hard you try, you'll never get all three when it comes to construction. And what that means is if you're going to hire a contractor, you're going to hire a handyman, whatever, you can find somebody that's fast and cheap, but it's not going to be good. You can find somebody that's fast and good, that's cheap and good, but it's not going to be fast. You can find somebody that's fast and good, but it's not going to be cheap. So that's what I mean by fast, cheap, and good. You can pick two. No matter how hard you try, you'll never get all three. So, if you're new to the business, if you're trying to, forge a relationship with a general contractor, handyman, whatever, it's a two-way street. You got to understand it's a two-way street. So if you treat your guys well, you take care of your guys, you pay your guys well, you pay them on time, when they're done with the job, when they're completed, paying them in a reasonable amount of time, they're going to want to continue to work for you. But when it comes to forging a relationship with a contractor, handyman, whatever, if you're always trying to, beat them up on the price, give them a hard time because they're not done yet, you're really hammering on them, harping on them, they're not going to want to work for you. So, the world that we live in right now, they're currently, post COVID, with everything that's going on. I mean, there's there's limitations with contractors and their crews, and the workforce is, I keep saying the workforce is non-existent. A lot of the guys that are doing work for me are running skeleton crews right now, which means, they used to be 5-6 man crews. Now they're 2-3 man crews. I mean, the workforce just isn't out there right now. So, that being said, during these current times, you have to be aware of that, and understand and understand where the guys are coming from, understand expectations, when they say I can't be there for 2 weeks, I mean, the reality is they can't get there for 2 weeks. So you have to understand all aspects of it's a two-way street. It's got to work with you as the customer, and the contractor. It's got to line up with their schedule. So going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but there's a lot of things that I want to cover, in this podcast, in this recording. So first things first, wanted to cover that fast, cheap, and good. Pick two. Next is when it comes to being a real estate investor, when it comes to being a property owner, owning an investment portfolio, being an active investor, I think it's very important that you and we understand construction and understand all aspects of construction. As I said, it's a big part of the business. It's a huge part of the business. Whether you're buying a property, fixing it up to, put a resident in there, doing a full renovation to sell it, whether you're dealing with maintenance and turns and things like that. If you have a long-term portfolio, construction is a big part of the business. So, in my opinion, it's very important to understand construction. And I'm not saying you have to be a general contractor, but I'm saying it's important to, understand the process, understand the different aspects and things that are involved with the different aspects of construction, whether it's, your general contractors, your HVAC guys, your electricians, your plumbers, your roofers. I'm not saying you need to know how to put a roof on, or you have to put your own roof on. I'm not even suggesting that. I'm not saying you have to learn how to, rewire a house, but I am saying that you need to understand the process. And for me, when I started in the business, I said this, and I talked about this more in more detail in previous episodes. But when I started in the business, I was very hands-on with my properties, with my renovations. I didn't do all aspects. I didn't I didn't rewire houses. I didn't rewire plumbing or replumb houses. Anything like that. But when I started in the business, I was buying single family homes and doing light to moderate rehabs on these homes in order to put a resident in there for long-term cash flow and go to the bank. And I was going to the bank, I would refinance, and then I would do it again. But when I started, I was very hands-on with the construction. I was going out nights, weekends, things like that. It was pre-kids. So I had time, and I was very active, and what that allowed for me was to to learn the process. And I was a hands-on guy in my previous career in the automotive industry, but so I understood just general I had a general knowledge of like doing things hands-on. So but when it came to construction, so a lot of that stuff was new to me. So I was very active with it. I would go, I'd paint the house. I'd do the demo, of course, rip the carpets out, clean things up, and I would do some light to moderate construction myself, the painting, even though I hate painting. I would paint the house. I would put some flooring down, I put some kitchen cabinets in, some countertops, things like that. So I was very active, early on in my career. And what that allowed for me was to kind of learn the process, learn that side of the business, learn what all was involved, with construction. And then as my business progressed, and as I continued to do more and more, I had less and less time to, be hands-on. But over the course of time, being active on the job sites, maybe I'm not doing the physical construction, but as I'm doing full remodels, I'm there every day. I'm helping out where I can. Maybe I'm doing material runs, things like that. So I sort of transition from doing a lot of the stuff myself to kind of middle of the road, where maybe I'm doing some demo here on the weekend, or maybe I'm doing a material run or something like that, or maybe I'm helping out here. So I kind of phased myself out over time of construction. So now I spend a lot of time not on the job site, because I have a good relationship with general contractors. But over that course of time, what I'm getting to is being active in the job, doing the job, and then being very, very active on the job site, which I'm still on the job sites actively today, but I'm not there all day, every day. But being active on the job sites and with the general contractor, that allowed me to learn the process. And then, just over the last 10, 15, nearly 20 years, just being actively buying, actively working with general contractors, you tend to learn things along the way. But what I'm getting to is it is very important to understand construction. If you're not a contractor by trade, if you're not a hands-on person by trade, or you're within your background, it is important to know the process. Because when you're working with a general contractor, first, when you buy a house, you need to know how much it's going to cost to fix it up. You have to have a general idea. You have to be able to put a general, scope of work together, a general budget. And then when you close on that house and you're working with your general contractor or your handyman or whoever to get your pricing, I mean, you have to know what stuff costs. And in order to know what stuff costs, you have to know what it takes, to get the work done. You need to understand the process involved with, all the processes involved with a complete renovation, or all, everything that's involved with rewiring a house or replumbing a house, or, putting a new roof on, resheeting the roof, windows. You have to understand, the cost and the process, so that you can work with the general contractor. So when it comes to general contractors, how do you find them? Let's just get to probably likely to the information that you want to hear. So when you're looking to select a general contractor, how do you find them? referrals are the best. Right now, we have social media. There's all kind of subgroups. Pittsburgh real estate investors. All these other subgroups out there that are on social media where they're full of general contractors, full of people that are subcontractors, plumbers, electricians, HVAC, anything like that. So when I fortunately over the last several years, I've had a really good relationship with the contractors that I work with, to where, the expectations are aligned, meaning, we do what we say we're going to do, which is pay them on time and at a fair price. And they do what they say they're going to do, which is, get the work done at a fair price, and in a timely manner. So, and I said a fair price. I didn't say a cheap price. So when working with a contractor, if interests are aligned, expectations are aligned, that allows the ability to forge a long-term relationship for repeat business. Because just like you as a real estate investor, developer, whatever, just like you don't want to go out every time you buy a new house and find a new contractor to work with. That's those contractors that are out there. They don't want to go searching for work every other week. So when interests are aligned, as I had mentioned, you can forge that long-term relationship with the contractor. I've been fortunate. I've been blessed. I've been working with the same general contractor for 5+ years on the new construction side of the business. I've been working with we've been working with the same general contractor / handyman type guys for the last 3 to 4 years, on our portfolio, on the portfolio side of the business. And why is that? It's because our interests are aligned. We pay a fair price. We expect, we allow for a reasonable time frame to get the job done. And then on the contractor side, they do reasonable quality work, good quality work at a reasonable price. So interests are aligned, which allows us to continue to work together. So let's say you're new in the business. You're trying to find a general contractor. You're trying to find a handyman, electrician, plumber, whatever. Well, first things first, you need, assuming you have properties that are in portfolio, you have rental properties, you should have these contacts lined up before there's an issue. So when issues pop up, when there's an electrical issue, plumbing backup, something like that, hit a rental property or somebody, something that you're holding long term, those issues tend to come at the most inconvenient time. So you need to have your contacts lined up in advance. But assuming you're new to the business, just getting started, trying to find a general contractor, trying to find a plumber, HVAC electrician, how do you do it? Go to referrals, look for referrals. So I've talked about this before. Acre of Pittsburgh Real Estate Investors Association, where I'm on the board of directors as a volunteer. That's how I got my start. That's how I made a lot of my initial contacts with construction and general contractors and subcontractors. Just going to the Acre group, going to the Acre monthly meetings. There are vendors there that are contractors and subcontractors, but then there's also a whole network of other real estate investors that are doing the same thing that you're doing that may offer up some referrals to you. So when selecting a general contractor, if you go to the social media groups and you just go in blind, you post, I'm looking for a general contractor for a rehab or whatever, try to get a referral. There are a lot, if you throw something out there, you're going to get a lot of self-promotion. Use, here's my company. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But if you select, like a self-promotion type of thing, go look at the work, work with, ask for referrals, go see some jobs, go visit, get to know this person, get to know their business, and make sure your expectations and your interests are aligned, with what you're looking to accomplish and what they're willing to accomplish for you. So, referrals are great. If you can get into a network, whether that's Acre of Pittsburgh or, another subgroup, if you can feed off of each other, with referrals, and that's not just contractors, there's a whole slew of referrals that you can get from those groups and those subgroups. But today we're specifically talking about contractors. So, referrals are great. Uh, so let's say, you got your referral, you're ready to move forward. You got your property lined up, you got your contractor lined up, you're ready to move forward with the construction, and start the project. Couple of things that I highly, highly, highly recommend is, it's, in my opinion, in my business, it's a requirement is, make sure you have the insurance. Make sure you have the insurance in place. Contractor has their insurance in place. You're listed as an additional insured loss payee on that policy, for that job. There are you can have certain limits, certain limit requirements on the insurance, but insurance is an absolute must. Another thing that is an absolute must is a general contractors agreement, a contractors agreement, and a scope of work. It's vital. It's crucial that, when working with a general contractor, handyman, whatever, construction, that you have an agreement in place. Why? Because you need the black and white. You need the written scope of work. You need the written expectations. You need the general contractors agreement. You need your agreements and your documentation in place. Why is it? Because am I suggesting that, the contractors are bad people? But no, absolutely not. I'm not. Why you need your general contractors agreement? Why do you need your scope of work? Is so that your expectations and your interests are aligned, both as the customer and as the general contractor. Let's face it, everybody's busy. You're busy as an investor. You might be working a full-time job, doing this on the side. You got family at home, kids at home. General contractor has the same thing. He might have 5, 10, 15 jobs going on. He's got his business. He's got everything else going on, the family, the home life, whatever. People are busy. So when you meet at a job site, don't think that your general contractor, that your job, your scope of work is the only thing on his mind. They got a lot going on just like you do. So it's very important that you have your written scope of work and your written general contractors agreement, so that you have so that you have the understanding and the expectations. Your interests are aligned on what the expectations are, step by step, to complete this job. So it's crucial. It's vital that you have that scope of work, and then that helps, as you're progressing on the job. Depending on how large the job is it a quick turn? Paint, carpet, kitchen? Is it a full remodel? Where it's a 14 to 20 page scope of work, or is it 5, 6 lines on a sheet, on a scope of work of things that need to be accomplished on a turnover. So regardless of what it is, it's very important that you have a written scope of work and a general contractors agreement and the insurance in place. Why? Because that helps you throughout the process. When you get to the end of the job, there's no, well, hey man, you said you were going to do this. I didn't say I was going to do that. If you have your scope of work and your contractor agreement, it's in there. It's in writing. It's black and white. It's a plain language agreement. There's no fine print. There's no hidden stuff. It's like, here's the 14 things that we were going to do on this job. Interests are aligned. Get the scope of work, get it done. Simple as that. So, when it, again, when it comes to working with a contractor, working with a handyman, subcontractors, things like that, interests have to be aligned. You take care of your guys will take care of you. You pay your guys well. You pay them on time. If your guys aren't chasing you for a draw or chasing you for a final payment on a job, chances are pretty good you pay them well, you pay them on time. You won't have to chase them to do, future work, future jobs for you. And then, as far as throughout the process, I'm not going to get into, how we do draw schedules or anything like that. That's between you and your contractor, how you work those details out. But that again, the draw schedule would be in your construction agreement, your general contractor's agreement, along with your scope of work. So you got your scope of work, you got your general contractor's agreement. In that contractor's agreement, based off of the scope of work, is your draw schedule. So that tends to be a place where you have issues is one time, time expectations, and money, of course. So when you have those agreements in place up front, and you both understand the agreements going in, just a plain language agreement, plain language, just black and white scope of work, leaves, no room for, assumptions, misinterpretations, things like that. It's like, here's what we're agreeing to, here's what we're doing. You get A, B, and C done. There's a draw. You get, next couple of items done. There's a draw. You get towards the end of the job, we'll do a final draw, hold 10% back, and then when you get the final occupancy and permit, occupancy inspection, then, we'll pay out this final 10%. So, there's a number of ways to structure draws, but the big thing is, make sure that there's a clear understanding and expectations when you start the job of when those draws are going to come, what the expectations are in order to get those draws. And it's no conversations, it's no handshake agreements, because general contractor might be a great guy. You might be a great person. General contractor might be a great guy, girl, whatever person. Might have the best of intentions. You might have the best of intentions as well. But, when you base things off of a handshake, things get lost in translation, things get forgot about. So biggest thing is having all of that in writing, in that scope of work. If you want to, if we back up a little bit, when it comes to, selecting a general contractor, selecting a subcontractor, or this also holds true for, if you're a general contractor and deciding whether or not you want to work for, for that investor or that customer. Big thing I recommend is checking people out. There's if you do, and I'm not saying run a credit check, I'm not saying run a full criminal background check, I'm not saying have that, I'm not suggesting have that general contractor, fill out an application like a job application. I'm just saying do some little searches, whether you're looking at a general contractor, whether you're looking at a handyman, whether you're looking at a subcontractor, or if you're on the other side and you are the general contractor deciding whether or not you want to work for that person, check them out. Prothonotary civil docket, local magistrate filings. They're free searches. There's information out there that's available. You will find out if you're looking to hire a possible general contractor, and you'll if you search their name, I mean, you'll see if there's issues, if they've been to the magistrate, many times in the past for or if they've been to common police court, for issues with clients or construction related issues, or just, personal issues, drugs, drinking and driving, things like that. So you can, on the Prothonotary civil docket, on the local magistrate filings, you can find all of that information. And then same thing for the general contractors that might be listening to this, the subcontractors, check out your clients, your potential clients, your customers, before you decide to work for them. Prothonotary civil docket, local magistrate filings, check that person out. Do they have a history of ripping contractors off, not paying draws? Is there a case history? Is there issues just in general? When you go to those websites, I mean, you can see, and you can just like as a property manager, as a property owner, we pre-screen our residents before we move them in. As an investor, as a business owner, you should pre-screen people before you hire them. As a business owner, as a general contractor, you should pre-screen people before you decide to work for them. And that's just the nature of the business. That's the world that we live in. You want to understand, this relationship that you're about to get into. If you do some searches and you find a whole laundry list of magistrate filings, and issues, you're going to be the next on that line. You're going to be the next person on that list. So chances are pretty good. So that's what we have today. That's what I wanted to cover today, as far as construction, selecting contractors, and working with contractors. And again, I could go on and on and on. We've had, I've been in this business for almost 20 years. I've worked with all kinds of general contractors, handyman, subcontractors, things like that. And the things that I've learned over the years that have helped grow and progress my business. If we just hit the highlights: one, check people out before you work for them or before they work for you. Two, make sure everything that you do is in writing, in a scope of work, in a general contractor's agreement, that prices are agreed to upfront before the work is done. Three, make sure you pay your guys a fair price and have clear understanding and expectations, or what's to be done. Last but not least, don't just go out there and look for the cheapest guys and expect them to do, phenomenal work. Is it possible? But yes, again, fast, cheap, and good, pick two. So, that's what I have for today. That's my message on construction and working with contractors. Again, take care of your guys, take care of your crews, and your crews will take care of you. So, construction is a huge part of the business when you're in real estate, when you're an investor, when you're a developer, whether you're, holding long-term rentals, things like that. Construction is a huge part of the business. So make sure you understand it and understand all the aspects of construction. And again, I can't say this enough, take care of your crews, and your crews will take care of you when the need arises. So that's my message for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you found value in this message, all I ask in return is that you share it with someone that can benefit. And we'll keep going here. So if you have anything you want me to dive into in detail, just, hit me with a message, DM, call, text, email. A lot of you guys have my contact information, but all over social media, just hit me with a direct message. Let me know what you want to talk about, and we'll go from there. So thank you, and have a great day.